Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Thursday, the 4th of September. With McShane, we're reading through Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, today chapter 9, and he speaks about his ministry. In verse 20, he says, "To the Jews I became like a Jew to win the Jews." And then he continues, "To those under the law I became like one under the law, though I myself am not under the law, so as to win those under the law." And he's saying that with the Jews, he lived like a Jew. He kept all the laws and regulations so that he could fit in and the people could relate to him and he could win some for the gospel. But that's not all that he did. When he was out of Jewish company, he continues, "To those not having the law, I became like one not having the law, though I am not free from God's law, but under Christ's law, so as to win those not having the law." So when he wasn't in Jewish company, but in Gentile company, he lived like they did. He didn't keep all the Jewish rules and regulations because that would set him apart from the people he was with. And he lived in a way so that he could relate to them, they could relate to him, and he could share the gospel more easily. And he says in verse 22, "I have become all things to all people, so that by all possible means I might save some." And his position is, when I go out, I become what I need to do and fit in where I can to win some people for the gospel. And as Christians, that is what we need to be doing as well, to be fitting in. And so often people outside of the church assume that Christians are going to be sort of completely different, and we end up in a little holy huddle. And too often we do. And it's little wonder that we have no impact on the world if we're so cut off and isolated and in our own little cocoon. We need to break free of that and get out into the world and mix with the people and become like them, although we're different, as Paul says, so that we will win a hearing for the gospel. And on the Alpha course, we're talking people saying, people look at it and say, "You're a Christian, but look at what you've done." And their response is, being a Christian doesn't mean I'm perfect. It means I'm a sinner like everyone else, just I've been forgiven and given another chance. And that really needs to be our approach. We're not perfect. We never claim to be perfect. We don't expect other people to be perfect. We don't expect other people to live differently or behave differently just because they're in our presence. They need to be who they are. And we will be who we are, and we can fit in order that we can win a hearing for the gospel. So be encouraged as you go through life, that we don't have to be separate and set aside. Paul says, "I became all things to all people," and that is what we need to do. Let us fit in so that we win a hearing for the good news. And when people realize that we're just ordinary people, we're not some sort of angelic, saintly people, we're normal, they're more prepared to hear what we have to say. And what we have to say is the good news of eternal life for all through Christ. Be blessed.